Hello everybody and welcome to another video on X4, and today we're going to be talking about the stations that we're producing and how to actually get them to do things we want. They need to start making some money. We've made this massive investment. How do we get them to do things for us? And the reason why I've done this in its own little video is because there's a lot to do that makes these stations profitable. So the first thing is how do we get the station to do anything? Well, the first thing we have to look at is what it requires. If you click on it like I've just done there, it has upkeep missions now, and I'll tell you what it requires. One thing that's stopping this from doing anything at all is in red. Acquire manager. It has no manager. I tend to do dealing with your staff on a different video, but today it's very important that we do it. So we're going to go to player information. We're going to go to our personnel management. We're then going to go to display skill for role, and we want manager role. What this does is every person we have currently serving us, no matter what their role is, will have their skill level based off being a manager. We're then going to press the button here so that our top people are at the top in terms of skill. We're going to aim for service crew. Now this is going to do one of two things. This will affect your other ships. This service crew here will have an effect on the Menorah gas sentinel, so it may drop down in levels, so it may not be able to do the things that it's been told to do. So keep an eye on that. However, the likelihood is it's got two high level ones on there, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. We're going to right click. We're going to ask it to work somewhere else for us. Then going to click on our station that we want. It gives us the option with a drop down, select manager and assign. If we now highlight it again, it says restock cargo drones, but it's in white. That means to be efficient, it requires cargo drones to be able to effectively work. It also says now assign subordinate, assign subordinate. The reason why it says it twice is because one is for trading and one is for mining. Because these here are requiring stuff. So let's go to our logical overview. We can see that there are three things that we're going to be producing and one thing that we can potentially purchase. We need graphene and refined metals to produce whole parts. As mentioned in my video about economy, we've currently got it set to do standard hull parts, not Tellardi hull parts. However, Tellardi hull parts requires Tellandinium. So as a side market currently, I'm producing Tellandinium until I get enough money to get the graphene production system up and running. Graphene then gets added. Graphene and refined metals will go directly into hull parts, and we can skim off the top as well if we require. And Tellandinium can either go to just selling, or we can then get the Tellardi hull part production to then do two lines of hull part production, which basically goes into the same pot. Lots of things in red here. The allocated cargo space is full. Not enough resources. Not enough resources. Modules without resources. And again, module without resources. You also see this box here is in red. Stations require money. You'll notice it's requiring a minimum recommended budget of 1.7 million. That minimum recommended budget means that it will effectively work at that profit, that value. It will buy what it needs, it will sell what it needs, and it will generally work a little bit faster. But it does not require that. There is something we're going to require for graphene. However, we can actually get the money from graphene by selling Tellandinium. How do we do that? Well, let's get into it. First of all, we want drones. Or do we? It offers us to purchase drones. It tells us we should, buy drones. We have a tier 3 E pier. Sorry, a 3 dock E pier. The cargo drones are required for unloading large and extra large ships. So yes, we do need them. However, if you do not have a large or extra large dock, then I'd argue the case that you don't necessarily need the cargo drones. But it's worth having them if you can afford it anyway. You notice now we've got storage for drone components and smart chips. Your manager will use the station account to offer purchases for these. We already produce energy cells, so it's already supplied that from station supply. It's like a little internal storage that doesn't actually count towards anything. So we're set. Cargo drones has now been covered. So our next problem is assigning subordinates so that we can get the resources we require. For that, your best option is to get your own subordinates. You do not require your own subordinates, however. And I'm going to go over that after I've done subordinates. However, if you have miners, maybe you've got local miners that are currently doing absolutely nothing.
Requesting permission to dock.
You can see there, it's got silicon, it's not selling the silicon. You can choose to empty it and place it onto your station, or just leave it and build some more ships. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some that I've already got prepared. So we require ore, and pretty much that is it in terms of resources. Energy cells are doing their own thing. We don't need silicon. So let's go ahead, let's select 2. I'm going to right click the station that I require. Assign role 4. We don't want it to defend, we want it to mine. I'm going to set it to alpha. So see now, it takes it from your unassigned ships and places it underneath there. If we now select this, you see that we only have one option to assign subordinates now, or one request. If you have a look at these, you'll see also that they are... that one actually has some storage. So I accidentally select one that was doing auto trade. That's fine. All I do is just drop that there, press drop, and it releases the cargo. But you'll see now that it's got a minor assignment to the 18 billion high-tech factory. It only requires ore, so it will only tell it to buy ore. How do we know that? Well, you'll see it's got auto mine, which is a 1-star skill, ore, and you can see it'll only do 1 gate jump. So basically, it'll go anywhere between 18 billion to memory of profit. It'll go to a Windfall Union, it'll go to Silent Witness, and it will also go to Grand Exchange to do its mining. It says max gate distance to sell. It's only selling at its own station, so it has no max gate distance to sell. So it'll come back to the station, sell it, job done. Double check this one, make sure this one's empty. It is, so they're both empty, and they're both... No, that one's not empty. That one's actually got silicon, so let's just drop that. There we go. Had this station had silicon requirements, you would notice that this behavior says ore and silicon, so it would mine both. But it's already better than local auto mining. Then we need to be able to trade. So again, we need 2 ships. Well, we don't need 2 ships, but I generally just do 2 for now. Trade for commander. You'll see now you don't have the option to mine for commander because this trading ship does not have requirements. It doesn't have the storage to mine. If it takes that away and gives us trade for commander. However, let's just set this up. So we'll have it set to beta. When we came to do mineral mining, and I think I've just put that on the wrong station. No, I haven't noticed a beta group. We had the option to trade for commander. It replaced trade storage. So trade for commander storage. But I can set this to actually trade because you can buy ore from other stations and sell it to your own station. So bear that in mind. That's set up and good to go, so it's now got the option to buy its, to mine its minerals and then sell the resources. But is it going to sell it? Let's have a look. So again, we need to go back to our local overview and go, right, I've now got it where it's going to mine my ore for me and potentially buy my graphene for me. Once we get ore, we have the energy cell, so it'll produce telandinium. So the first thing we're going to do or see in this cycle is telandinium gets produced, and our trading ships will then sell that telandinium within the range that they can operate. If we click on it, we can see that it's going to do a auto trade for energy cells, graphene, refined metals, hull parts, and telandinium. I'll go into a little bit of detail of why that's not too much of a worry, but you'll see that it'll do max gate distance to buy, so it'll go from 1 gate distance to buy any of these, and 1 gate distance to sell for any of these. However, it's got a further underlying request to it. Your commander is telling it that I have a buy offer for graphene. So if your ship was to have graphene in its storage, its priority will be to sell to the station. It, however, doesn't have a sell offer, so our ship will not buy from our station graphene. Same for ore. It has to have a buy offer, even though your ore is your miners are mining it. It is still a buy offer. It's still offering to buy that ore from our own ships. Same for energy cells. However, Because we're producing energy cells and it's not had a specific standalone requirement, you also have the option to automatically sell it. And you can see here that we are currently selling and we've actually got people buying. Now that we've got a manager, it will manage that for us. And it's saying, right, I've got spare energy cells that my production cycle doesn't really need all of this. So I've got some for sale. So then that sale there will add to our station account. You'll see we've already got some budgets here. We've got no tradeware budget at the moment. But once that sells, it will add to our station account and it will slowly generate revenue, which will then be used to buy the graphene. Same for the telandinium. Once we've got some telandinium, you'll see here at the moment we've got no buy offer, but we've got a sell offer. Because we don't need to buy it. It's got no production cycle. Refined Metals has buy and sell. We can skim them off the top. You see here it says automatic sell amount. When your manager gets a little bit better, it'll start working out what it requires better, so it'll keep a storage of it for the whole parts and sell off the top. Suitable sell offers automatically. So that's what it does. So most of this is done manually for you. But what if I turn around and go, actually, I kind of want to sell, let's have a think. I want to sell the ore off the top. Now, obviously, at the moment, ore is just ore. And we can't sell it too much because we haven't got people who want to buy it too much. However, the AI may want to buy it. If I go create sell offer, it'll automatically go sell all but. So I want to turn around and go, I want to kind of have, let's have a look. I want to keep a storage of 5,000. So our current storage, there we go. Our current storage facility holds 10,000 because it's automatically assigned, automatic storage allocation. So out of all of our solid storage capacity, 10,000. I'm going to say fill that up by half. Anything over that is for sale to the AI. You'll see there's no restrictions. There is a later restriction that we can talk about, but that has no restriction. How then do we stop our station from buying from the AI? Because we've got our own miners. We don't require buying using our money to buy from another trader. Yeah. What we can do is we can restrict that, and that's literally what I've just mentioned there. So if we go to here and we remove this, you'll see we get a drop down. At the moment, there's no restriction. If you click this here, it says create or edit trade rules in the global orders menu. So we'll click that, and it brings up a global order. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of this. What we want right now is the new trade rule. Click the new trade rule, and we're going to call this own faction. Station trades and station supply. If you click both of them, or all three of them, it will default. We don't want to default, because what if your station doesn't have any subordinates? What we do want is for it to restrict all factions. It says additionally allowed factions, so it restricts all but Emery Sloan, which is us there, Emery Sloan. Our faction is named after us at the moment. If you change your faction name, it would change that as well. You can add more factions should you wish. We don't. We want it to literally trade our own faction. We're going to save that trade rule. Press your back button. And you can see now, if we go to the drop down, our new order is there. And we get this little orange cross here. Trade restrictions apply to this were. What that now does means, what it will now do is it will buy only from our ships and sell to everybody, including our own ships as well. You'll also see that we're now getting some credits. So it's now got some station account there. We don't have any trading, so it doesn't have a tradeware budget. You'll notice that it's currently not buying graphene. It's not buying ore except from our own ships. And it's also not buying energy cells. It's producing its own energy cells. So that set now mean that it will basically, it will only, well, technically it'll buy one at 10 credits, that's it. Our ore is set to do our own faction and we'll sell anything above 5,000. So that's kind of a good setup, that. And you'll see that our credits will start to go in. It will use the credits to buy things that we require. You can see that our production will also... our production's actually gone up. It is actually producing, yeah, because the ore is there and the energy cells are there. So it is now producing. You'll see refined metals are producing, telandinium's producing. So we should hopefully start seeing some sales. As you can see, we haven't currently got any sales because there's not really much in there. So because we've got such a low amount, our manager's probably not saying, oh yeah, we've got sales. Once that increases and it's got a little bit more to it, it'll probably go, yep, now we've got some more sales, so come and buy it. You can see a little bit more detail, economy statistics. You'll see here, trade offer prices. So you can see that the price of things are going up. You can see that the price we're offering for ore has gone up because we now require a lot more ore. Sorry, no, that isn't ore. That's sell ore. So sorry, sell ore is now gone up because we've got ore to offer, so it's now jumped up. You can see that we're offering to buy graphene, and we're offering to sell hull parts as well. Trade offer amounts. You can also see what we're actually offering for trade. It's only select data, so currently that's showing us energy cells, graphene, hull parts, and ore. If you want to see refined metals and tellandinium, we need to drop something else. So let's drop the ore, and let's drop the energy cells, because realistically we kind of know what they want. Let's set up tellandinium and refined metals. It offers you smart chips and drone components because it is technically there. But you can now see that actually we've got an offer to buy refined metals. So it's actually offering to buy it. I produce it, so I'm going to drop that off and remove it. I'm also going to set the price and drop that down. So when that refreshes, we should see that refined metals will drop off this here. You can see it's setting the time, so at 5 minutes it'll adjust. You can also see that that's shot right up, so now our manager is given a trade offer amount to sell. I think it's 110. It'll probably go up again. You can see here the color codes as well. You can also see that we're offered to buy graphene. It's slowly creeping up because there isn't much in terms of refined metals, so it's not going to then ask for much in the terms of graphene because it's not going to stockpile it. You can also see your storage levels as well. Storage levels are based off the resources that you actually are having. It doesn't base it off your storage level maximums. It's just saying this is how much you've got of each. And your management accounts, it shows you basically how your manager's doing for accounts. You can see here it's shot right up. As you start to earn more credits, you'll see that it kind of just does this little peak and trough, peak and trough, peak and trough as it goes through stuff. But it's really useful to look into this. You can see that we're still offering absolutely nothing in terms of tellandinium sell offer, refined metal sell offers, ore sell offers. But energy cells right up there because it's producing plenty of energy cells. So hopefully that's given you a little bit more of an insight into how to run your station. If anything is not working like this, then there'll be something wrong, like it may not have a connected storage or something like that. So have a look at what it's telling you on all these red markers. Not enough resources for production. It needs a certain amount of resources. You don't know that because you've not done anything. However, if you do want to know, then all you need to do is basically check out the Encyclopedia. So to do that, if we just drop out of here, we go to our Encyclopedia, we now go to our station module. You'll now notice we've got hull parts because we've got a hull part facility. And you can see the cycle is, so there's 4 cycles in each hour. You can see that the cycle takes 15 minutes to produce, so every 15 minutes it will produce. If it completes all 4 cycles, it will produce 1,176 hull parts. It requires 4 each hour. So basically divide this by 4 and you know what you want. 1,120 refined metals to every 160 graphene and 320 energy cells. So you can see why it's not doing anything yet. So use the Encyclopedia to get the information you require. I know a lot of people go into this with fine-tooth combs and want everything to be efficient, and you want to have a set number of modules per module production, and use the Encyclopedia. It's there for that reason. Hopefully this has helped you get your station up and running. I know I've gone into a lot of detail with it, but we're now coming out of the beginning stuff and going to the intermediate stuff where we're working on things that are then end game stuff. So I hope you appreciate that things are a little bit more complicated now, but hopefully we've got there in the stage where you've been able to understand and enjoy the game.
Awaiting orders.
If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, join our Discord where we can talk you through anything that you may have problems with. There's plenty of us who know a lot of information about this, and there are certain things that we do overlook on purpose. Bear that in mind, but hopefully it has helped you get into where you need to go. Until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.